Bet. We are live. We are live. It's a pilot episode of In Between the Lines, Bros and Books.
With the bros.
This is the book. All right. I am Bernard Goodrum.
I'm Pop.
And we are the, what are we? The creators of In Between the Lines, Bros and Books?
All right, yeah. So we are the creators.
So this is our podcast, man, and our goal here is just to, it's an adult, cool black guy version of a book club.
Yeah.
We kind of wanted to start something fresh and new, and we've known each other for a super long time.
Since 08, bro.
2008, going back to the good old Folk Valley days.
Folk Valley. Say it right. If you went, it's Folk Valley.
Not how it's spelled. Fort. If you say Fort Valley,
you not a wildcat.
I'm truly questioning if you if you were actually a part of the wildcat community or not. I ain't gonna say a part of it, but I just don't think you were in Spruce Green and
Nah, you didn't go to Camp Joe Hope for sure. For sure. If you say Fort, you did not go to Camp Joe Hope. Nobody that say Fort went to Camp Joe Hope.
Hey, we gotta talk about Camp Joe Hope in a different episode. Because the fact that we're alive after going to some of the parties at Camp Joe Hope is amazing.
I'm gonna put it like this. Y'all will learn a lot about us from our relationship to just life and where we are now. But in the meantime, I think it's vital that we let them know where we first met or how we first met. So I'm gonna just say this and say we met on campus at summer workouts. Summer workouts, because we both played football. We was at camp. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, camp. We played football, and they were amazed at my weightlifting prowess, and I was
stop the bullshit.
I'm like a mini Hercules, in kind of some regards. I don't want to
listen. We were doing
myself up a little bit.
We were doing our workouts where we have to try, as freshmen, you go in, you have to do certain lifts, power clean, bench press, squat. And we were in the process of squatting. My best friend from high school decided he wanted to challenge Bernard because both of them were strong. Look, I played DB. I'm a finesse player. All that strength, I left it up to them. But they got into a little friendly competition, and I don't know who won. I did. But it's history. You get what I'm saying? History from there. I mean, we are what we are now. You know what I'm saying? Almost 14 years later.
Maybe it can't count.
You're the math teacher, bro.
We definitely developed a friendship, man, and it transcended beyond the field. We went through a lot of experiences on the field, but it definitely transcended past it.
Yeah.
And I can truly say that that's truly my brother, man. That's my guy.
Thanks.
And we definitely grown to the kind of point where we at now. And I mean, just starting this podcast was truly a collective effort. He texted me one day like, "Hey man, I got a book you should read, man. It's super good." And I'm an avid reader anyway. I try to read at least 10 to 12 books a year. Sometimes I do it. Sometimes it's more, and sometimes it's less. But it's kind of my goal, and he already knew that. So he texted me with the book. I went and picked it up.
And the next day, that's how you know he read. That boy when he got it the next day and was like, "Bro, I got it." He texted me back so fast that I was like, "Sheesh." But yeah,
so. It was good though, man. It was what I needed at the time. Mentally, kind of where I was. I was going through a few things at work and personally or whatever. And this book was exactly what I needed, and I'm like, bro, like we were texting back and forth. I'm like, man, we didn't start a book club, man.
He hit it quick, and when he said it, I'm like, bro, I was walking through the house, and when you said it, I'm like, bro, my wife said the same thing. She was like, y'all should start a book club. And me, he's a reader. I am a sometime reader. I'll pick up a book here and there, but this one book that I sent him that had him tell me, "Hey, bro, look, we need to start a podcast." I've read 3 books this year already.
You had 3 already?
3 already, bro. And it's the motivation that you get from the people you surround yourself with. And this book started it all. Like reading this book for me was a testament of things I need to do. And when I sent it to him, it spoke to him in the way, and he needed it. And that's the thing. We never know what our friends are going through. Me and him talk on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, bro, you straight? Yeah, I'm good. But sending him this book gave him what he needed at the time.
Absolutely.
You know, it ain't always conversation sometimes. Sometimes it's just giving something to somebody genuine. And this book is why we're sitting here now having this podcast for y'all. You know, hopefully we can use this podcast to motivate others to join the book club that we're starting. So even if it's virtual, you can be here with us by joining in. So.
Absolutely, man. We're gonna make it interactive. It's kind of, we grow with it and kind of go through it. Start off, man. Again, our first book that we're gonna talk about in our pilot episode. I got you again with pilot.
You did. Use the words that it's like, bro, what? But
is Crazy Faith by Michael Todd.
Yeah.
Michael Todd has been in the news here lately for reasons that are not about this book. But
not
today,
at all.
We're going to discuss the book and we'll get to the other situation later on. But kind of summarize this book quickly. Todd speaks about what he feels like are the basis to have faith in the Christian community. He talks about it from the very first stages of it. He calls it baby faith, and he walks you through every step of having crazy faith, which again is the title. And then in each chapter, he gives biblical content, he gives personal content, he gives different examples, and kind of illustrates the ways that we can build our faith in God and build our faith, just in whoever you believe in. We're gonna be definitely open as far as different things. This is not a Bible podcast or anything like that, but I believe in God. But either way, he gives you examples of being able to kind of have faith and what he details as faith throughout the book. And again, he gives you different biblical content and characters, and he does a really good job of kind of explaining that whole deal. Pop, what was one of your takeaways from the book? What do you feel like is one thing that you thought stuck with you?
Just to piggyback on what Bernard said, before I get to that first point, this is not a book. This is not a podcast only about biblical things. Okay, this book is just a book that brought this whole idea together.
All right.
So we're open to all types of books.
Yeah,
fiction, sure. Not so much. But if you have a good fiction read that you want to read and you want us to read with you and do it on the podcast, we got you.
Thanks.
But my first takeaway, bro, is the statement he made about progression, not perfection. In the world we live in today, the progression that we make leads to us getting to our next point. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people are not looking for making progress. They just looking for get to that perfect moment.
Mm-hmm.
And during that progress you're making, you're going to hit points where you're not so happy. You're not so, energetic about doing it, but it's what you need.
Correct.
We all go through hard times, bro. And that's a part of your progress. You're never going to hit perfection.
No.
Nobody's ever going to be perfect, but you can continue that progress. So hearing that and knowing that God values that progress because he knows where you're headed. So him seeing you continuously making a progress to get to where he's leading you is what leads you to your purpose.
Absolutely.
Which a lot of people don't grab that much.
Quotable moment. He just had one. Hey, I feel like I do a good enough job either explaining the play on words or in between the lines. So you're in between the lines is definitely about, in between the lines. We were football players. And we played in between the lines, but also in between the lines with books. Books are
a bunch of lines with words. A bunch of lines with words.
So I said that to say that you may hear a few football analogies like this one. As coaches, sometimes me and him both coach young, high school football players, and I think perfection is definitely something that we chase, but it's not an attainable goal. Nobody can be perfect. But just the progression of being able to show where you started and kind of where you're at now. I mean, you take a freshman football player, a kid who's 14 years old, and mold them, and you kind of take them through high school. They end up as a senior. It may not be a D1 player or whatever else, but just the progress they made from 14 to 17 or 14 to 18, you're able to see that. And I feel like that goes for everybody in kind of every situation. You can't just look at the end goal. You can't look at perfection and say, oh, I didn't get it, I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
You gotta look at the progress and kind of where you came from. So that's definitely a valid point, man. Definitely a valid point.
It's a great point, and like you said, people look at it and be like, "Oh, I'm not there," and kind of fall back on themselves. And that leads me to my next point, where you got to have faith even when you can't see it. You get what I'm saying? Even when you can't see what you're working towards. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, and that means you have to be vulnerable. So, if you have faith, you're going to do exactly what you want to do when you want to do it. Say, for instance, posting. We live in a world that social media is everything.
Absolutely.
So if I decide I want to post something, what's the first thing happen? Start thinking about, oh, who's gonna like it, who's gonna see it, how many likes I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
But if you're vulnerable and have faith in the creator that you pray to, that you believe in, is going to lead you in the right direction, just post it. If nobody likes it, they saw what you posted. Don't get down. Just know that you was vulnerable enough to put yourself out there and say, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing.
Even with no likes.
Even with no likes. But see, that's the thing. Most people get and be like, oh, I ain't get no likes, delete. No, you was vulnerable. Somebody saw it. Somebody viewed it. They just didn't like it. So be vulnerable. Like, even when it comes to people around you, don't be naive and vulnerable, but be vulnerable, like, to people that matters. Like, to my wife, I'm vulnerable. I was once a prideful guy. And I wouldn't do, if my wife asked me to do something in front of the guys that she did when it's just us two, I would be reluctant. But now it's like, okay, I got you. I'll do it for you because I'm not afraid of being vulnerable. You feel me? So he trying to act like he is not the same, but the missus walk in and say, I need this done, it's getting done. But no, that's my next point, is be vulnerable and allow God to put you in position to be who you want to be.
Yeah, that's a really good point too, man. I think relationships is definitely the top on the list of vulnerability. Being able to be vulnerable with your kids, with your wife. I mean, any type of relationship, man, you gotta be willing to be kind of transparent a little bit and kind of show, people who you are and show yourself. I think as men, sometimes vulnerability is something that we do not want to do.
No, too much pride.
I can remember my dad, man, like being young, I couldn't cry, bro. Like if I cried, I had to suck them tears up, or I had to dry them up real quick or whatever. Crying wasn't something that he allowed. It wasn't something that we did. Now as a man, as an adult, like, I really don't cry now, not because I don't want to, but just physically, like, sometimes I feel like I can't.
It's your brain is trained to say, oh man, I'm a man, I don't need to be crying.
Yeah.
And I have two boys of my own, and at first I was giving them the same thing I got as a young kid. Look, man, you need to suck it up. That don't hurt. You being soft. But as I've grown as a dad, and as I've grown just as a person, I've understood I can't do that to my boys.
Yeah. I
have to allow them to show the emotions and talk with them. So, just being able to say, hey, I understand you may be hurting a little bit, but let's see what's wrong. Why are you crying? Things like that. So that really allowed me to understand that being vulnerable and showing your true feelings is all right.
Good deal. Good deal. What's your last takeaway from the book?
My last takeaway from the book is, hold up, bro. Oh, there we go. This is exactly what it is. God would send a storm to frustrate us into a place of humility so that we seek him for the vision that will get us to the next stage. I took that because it's like every time something happens, and he stated this in the book a lot, every time something happens, it's always, the devil. The devil. We always give credit to the devil for bringing all the trouble. If I'm in an argument with somebody, boy, the devil is working, boy. Like your mama would say something about, the devil's a lie. But just reading this book helped me see sometimes God put us through that storm to see if we're ready for that next stage. That next stage could be now we're not arguing at all, but if me and my wife is having a difficult situation and I just give up, I don't know what was on the other side of that conversation. We're going to grow. So it's just sending a storm, even with you trying to build something, a business. A lot of people like to try to build businesses and they don't work out right away. You're not selling 150,000 units a year right off the bat. But the storm is having to sell 2 or 3 units, having to invest your money into it. Is a storm because if God give you selling that 150,000 right away, how you gonna be able to control what you have? You have you have to have that humility to say, even though everybody is telling me no, I'm gonna keep pushing. This is my storm where I'm building my character. I'm building that. So that is really big when it say when you get into a place of humility and frustration, God will lead you, give you that vision.
To go to the next step.
Go to the next step.
That's good, man. But what you're saying is, and I got a question about it. So you're saying that in the social media realm that we're in now, this generation now, that I gotta actually work for something. I gotta take a little time, and it may not come right now.
Exactly. And just think about it. It's not going to come right now. Let's see. How many people have we seen go viral? Everybody know them, but then you forget about it.
Facts.
Because what they saw was, oh, I made this post. I made this post. Listen to that word,
yeah.
I. It wasn't you.
Yeah.
And when you thought you did it, what you tried to do is do something else to fit it. Instead of sitting back and say, okay, God, what's next?
Facts.
Give me the vision, God. And that is basically saying, it just move forward. You get what I'm saying? So that's why you see so many of them fall off.
What's Shiggy at, man? I ain't seen Shiggy in a minute.
Exactly. Because his dance went viral. He was good, but where is he now?
Hey, Shiggy, come on the podcast, big dog.
Yeah,
hey, Shiggy,
he's still trying to do the same dance.
Is he really?
It don't work. Kiki don't love you no more. So, but that's how that point worked for me, is you have to let God give you the vision and believe that it was him or whoever it is you pray to.
That's it, man. And two, something is interesting in that, and I want you to kind of expand on it a little bit more. Is I don't think people understand that God can put you through a test or a storm. You know, I think in this chapter, or where you're drawing this from, he talks about a Bible character getting his son, and him finally getting a son, and Abraham getting his son, and God asking for his son back, as you sacrifice his son. Yeah. And now he has to give up something that's
like, I couldn't see myself giving my son away. Yeah, so I know how he feels.
Yeah, that's wild, man. And then only to show him at the end that I didn't really want to take your son.
I wanted to see if you was willing to follow me.
Yeah.
Allow me to give you that. Yeah. So yeah, that, bro, listen. I can push on that because it's like we feel like if it's not us coming up with it, it's not right.
Yeah.
But like I said, reading this book, I was one that when I felt like it was a storm coming, it was the devil.
Yeah.
So I was one of them. But after reading this book, this is the first real credit I'm going to give this book for my change. Is once I read this book, I understood that everything I go through is God's test to see if I'm ready for the next level. So I appreciate this book for that 100%.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. Well, those are Pop's 3 takeaways. My first takeaway from the book is, I'm gonna kind of jump around a little bit, so bring me back every time.
I got you.
But my first one would be, man, is when Todd said, "Don't worry so much. It adds nothing and takes everything away." And for me, that was kind of something that I did a lot of in the past. I feel like you worry about things that you can control and the ones you can't. And probably more so the ones you can't control, you kind of tend to worry a little bit about it. And the author kind of talks about how if you're gonna pray, you don't need to worry, and vice versa. You're gonna worry, you don't need to pray. But the two things they can't coexist with each other. They can't be hand in hand. If you're gonna worry, then the whole prayer part is out of it, and again, vice versa. And I feel like this really stuck with me because I have worried a lot about just different situations in the past, man. Just stuff again that I can control and stuff that I really couldn't. You know what I mean? Just taking different examples of sport and football. I mean, you worry about, if you're good enough to play. You know what I mean? If you're good enough to be able to do it. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's not your job to worry about. If your job is to do exactly what you're told to do. Exactly. Go out and perform, and then you let the chips fall. You know what I mean? Let the chips fall where they may.
And bro, you saying that just brings me to the fact that we all worried before. I was worried about everything, stress, and that's my point. Stress comes with worry. Stress kills people. After reading this, I understand I have no reason to worry.
For sure.
When I get on my knees and pray, I can get up now and whatever I just prayed about, I no longer have to think about.
That's a skill, though, bro.
It is.
That's
It takes true faith and belief that you giving it to a higher power.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all have bills we worried about. So when I pray on them, once I get up, the only thing that's going in my mind now is if them people want it, they can come get it. I'm telling you, bro. Like, I'm not worried about it. If I don't have the money, if they want to come get the car, come get it.
They gotta come find
if they want, they gotta come find me. Just like they'll tell you probation officer, I'm not coming in, come find me. If you want that light bill money, come find me. Cause I ain't worried about it. I got $56 in my account, and you not getting it. Talking about just put something on it. Yeah, all right. When I get paid again, but I used to worry about stuff like that now. But now it's like, if I don't have it, I'm not worried about it because I'm not giving it to him if I'm worried about it. So I love the fact that you pulled that out of the book, because there's a lot of us out here that worry about where our next whatever is coming from. Don't worry about it. This book will teach you. Don't worry about where it's coming from. Just go with it. Go with it. So
just put one foot in front of the other one, man. Trust and believe that, you know, whatever's for you is definitely gonna be for you. I love the fact it says it adds nothing. It really doesn't add anything.
Doesn't at all.
I mean, like, you know, like Pop said, stress and worry and really it's just, stress is never good.
It's a killer, bro.
I mean, we can have a whole episode about
stress.
What stress does to the doggone man. So and it takes everything away from you. So I thought that was super important. My next takeaway, man, and this is one I really like. Your feelings are your worst leader. Like, trying to get our kids, not even our kids, just people in general, understand that now. Like, feelings are exactly what they say. It's feel. It's what you feel. You know, it's not permanent. It's something that's temporary. But we let a temporary feeling affect our lives, like every day.
A final decision.
Bro, I would love to go to a prison and take a poll and just see how many people are there based off of feeling, based off of embarrassment, based off of somebody tried.
Just being humiliated.
Just being humiliated and embarrassed, and then now you're in a situation to where you put yourself in a deal where, you know, your life is now really in somebody else's hands because you took feeling and you took it too far.
Bro, just think about it. We both work in the school system. We see these young guys who are immature, have that immature mentality where, oh, buddy said this, he tried me. And this is what get me, when they get information from somebody else and be upset. You know, I talked to one of the kids the other day in class, you know, he's just upset. I'm like, bro, what's wrong? So-and-so said they did this, and I feel like, feel like. So I asked him, I said, hey, so how is that going to affect you? Like, how is that going to help you for feeling like that? So he was like, well, I said, relax, think about it, and then come back. So when you say that about the guys in prison, a lot of them just react off emotions because they feel tried. At some point, you gotta allow yourself to take that embarrassment. That's a word.
That's a big
word.
You
feel? Listen, how much do you feel embarrassment play a role in it? Because they hate being embarrassed.
Embarrassed play a role in everything. I mean, you think about even when you correct kids, like, as teachers and as people, period. I mean, we use the word educated because we are, you know, in the field, but you got to be careful how you say stuff to certain kids. You know what I mean? Because I can come to you, if I got a different relationship with you, maybe I could yell at you or do whatever else. But most of these kids, no, man, like, you gotta make sure you come to them like in a respectful way to get your point. If you embarrass them kids in front of their friends, they gon'
you finna go through a storm. You finna go through a storm.
They gonna turn up on you in front of everybody else. You know what I mean? Embarrassment is definitely one of them things, and Vandera Shackelford, if you ever watch this episode, but dog, this is about you, man.
Legendary level of embarrassment.
Cause like, just Coach Holmes had us doing the worst kickoff return drill in football history.
I never had to do it.
So anybody who played with us know Coach Holmes is a definitely is a legend for Fort Valley coach and legendary for more than one reason. But he had to do this kickoff drill, man. He was a special team coordinator our freshman year, and the kickoff return drill was you had to run back and then basically stand there. and the defender was supposed to go left or right. You shield them off, block them off. It was like the first line of defense for the kickoff return team. So it's my turn to go, and I run back there, man, confident. I'm having a pretty good camp right now. I think I'm going to 2 at this point. I think Shaq just got there.
He did, bro. He just transferred in from South Carolina.
Yeah, he just got there. So Shaq just get there. He trying to prove a point. I get it. I run back that dog, and he's supposed to go left or right.
Mm-hmm.
About the 3 or 4 yard mark, I realized Shaq ain't going left or right.
He's coming dead center, right in your nose.
Cuz ain't going left or right. Cuz run right through me, bro. And when he run through me, dog, he hit me so hard, bro. I basically I went on my back and I stood right back up. So like I fell on my back and I just rolled back up on my feet. Everybody laughed at me. It was probably one of the most embarrassing moments I had as a football player.
And not to cut you off, but embarrassment can make a person do something that they really don't want to do.
Facts.
So what if you just think, this is our freshman year, you were starting as a freshman, walk on, let's just give you your credit on that. But you could have said, you know what, this ain't for me, bro.
I could have walked out, bro. I had a couple options, bro. I could have fought him.
Exactly.
Or I could have just quit. I didn't do either. You know what I mean?
You stayed, you endured that embarrassment, you grew from it. You let that embarrassment take you to who you are today.
Yeah, for sure.
Because most people quit, and if you would have quit football, what would you have been doing then?
I don't tell them, bro.
Because at the end of the day, that portion of your life, that was your calling at the time. Yeah. Football. You know, we use that as a tool to stay away from everything else.
Absolutely.
So just like you did, a lot of people need to take whatever they was embarrassed for and see how it's a lesson from the creator.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Shaq, I got smoke with you still, bro.
Can't let that ride now, Shaq.
I can't let that go. I can't let that go at all. Also, kind of on the same plane, on my second point is faith works in reverse. So I think this was a really good point because I think so many people fall off in the Christian faith and the Christian aspect again because God doesn't have it's not an order of operations. You know, it's not like a math problem where you can take the same steps and you can get the answer to the equation every time. It's not that. Todd talks about either God giving you the directions with no destination or a destination with no directions. So you have to have the belief. I mean, you talked about vision earlier. Mm-hmm. You gotta have the belief in the vision that whatever God gave you is what He gave you for a reason. You gotta put one foot in front of the other every time, and you gotta believe it first.
Exactly.
You can't see it.
You gotta believe it first. And my thing is, I feed off that, bro, because while we're sitting here now, is because when you text and said, "Bro, we need to start a book club," I was like, let's do a podcast so the book club can feed off that. Like, we can bring the book club off of that.
Yeah.
But we can start off with us two discussing how we enjoy what we read. And we believed it. And the first thing we did was what? Start getting what we needed.
You turned up. You went at it.
Because I believed it. Like, I felt like this book spoke to you in a way that you, bro, you've been reading forever. And I've talked to you about your reading and all this. You never said anything about a book club. You just always told me how you read. So when this book told you book club, book club, I'm like, okay, I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, because even though you said it, the text came from you, I feel like that was God's vision for you to give to me for us.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
So it's like, and we can use it as motivation. The kids are going to see us reading in school because we're going to have deadlines to finish the books we're reading. So they're going to see us reading, and the first thing I'm like, bro, you read all that lame.
I know I had it a couple times.
Yeah.
I read
Coach, you lame.
I didn't know you read. Coach.
Yeah.
I didn't know I read. I didn't know you could read. Come on, dog.
So
you know I can read.
But deep down, they looking at you like, oh, it's okay to read.
Yeah.
They might take that. They might not say it to your face.
Yeah.
But one day you might look up and it's like, Coach, man, I saw you reading, and I was like, bro, that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, that's big. That's a big one.
All right, my last point, and this is, I guess, future tense and kind of for everybody or anybody that needs something for the future and kind of moving forward. Todd says you will not reach the promise without enduring the process. We've got to love discipline just as much as we love results. Waiting equals developing. That's a low right there, man. That's a low. That's a low.
That's a low.
You won't reach the promise without enduring the process. That kind of goes back to progression and not
Not
perfection.
perfection, yeah.
You know, truly being able in that moment of waiting, knowing that you're developing, knowing that God is molding you and making you ready for whatever situation that you're moving into next. But enjoying the process.
Yeah.
Like I know Nick Saban talks about it all the time. Like, you know, fall in love with the process. Fall in love with doing the things that probably nobody else is doing or nobody else is seeing you do. But fall in love with that part of it, and then I think what happens is you fall in love more with yourself too.
Yep.
You're able to kind of see what you're able to endure, what you're, you know, kind of how tough your skin is, how tough you are, and then really, man, fall in love with discipline. I mean, you gotta love discipline, but you love results, and discipline is not something that we enjoy doing, man, like at all.
It's crazy that as adults, we are not as disciplined as we try to teach kids.
No, not even close.
Not even close.
Not even
like
close.
I always use the thought process of we love the results that you get when you go to the gym.
Yeah.
But you hate the discipline that you got to get up at this time in the morning, get to the gym, and still go to work and be productive. A lot of people hate that, and the process of waiting is you're waiting on God to show you the next step.
Absolutely.
Now, while you're waiting, we're not saying don't work. So if your process right now is going to the gym and working out, continue to wait on him to show you those results, to show you what's next. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You never know what you're impacting. So the process of waiting is huge, but it's the impatience. We're the microwave generation, bro.
Dr. Miami gonna find this episode and
be like, yeah. But listen, that's the microwave part of us, bro. Like I said, what we want. We go to the microwave, put our food in it, because we can put some of the same stuff we put in the microwave, either cook it on the stove or put it in the oven. It's going to heat up, but guess what? It's going to take longer. Instead, you throw it in the microwave, you roll with it. That's what we're used to.
That's it.
Like you said earlier about social media, people they want to get on quick, so they'll pay people to do this. But what they don't understand is if you're paying these people to be your fans,
it ain't real, man.
They're not going to hang around. Once you stop paying and all this, it's not gonna work. Take the time, build a genuine following, and pray about it.
That's it.
If you pray about it, you're good.
That's it. And man, like with the whole gym deal, man, it's what, June? January 22nd right now.
Yeah.
I guarantee you all the New Year resolution probably out the door right now.
Out the door.
Them jokers started January 1 and they ain't been to the gym probably since January 2nd or 3rd.
Nope. But the gym is making money. Listen, if you want to start a business, start a gym, because you're going to make your money at the beginning of every year.
Every year.
Because there's always going to be those people that say they're going to. And to the people that say it and may have fell off, you can always start
back on. Absolutely.
That's discipline is starting back.
Absolutely.
Just be disciplined, but yeah, that's big, bro.
Absolutely, man. So anybody getting a BBL, man, you know,
it ain't gonna last. Bro. It's not. Everything that comes fast goes quick.
Oh man, so yeah, those were my takeaways from the book. We're gonna kind of move on next to our rating. So we decided to do a 3-level rating. We call it the Bros and Books rubric. We decided to do the book in 3 different ways. The first one is relatability. Pop, how did you feel like this book related to current events? How do you feel like it related to yourself and kind of this part of this juncture of your life right now? Just total relatability. How you feel like this book related on a scale of 1 to 10?
This I gotta give it. I give it a 9.5 for how it related to me. Why? Because I feel like it came at the right time.
Yeah.
When I was trying to find myself, I guess you could say, and it related to my situation. I knew I was in a certain situation, especially with like work and all that, but I didn't have the faith to think it was going to go anywhere further. You get what I'm saying?
For sure.
But as I read this book and dove deep into the meaning and the understanding of what he was saying in certain places, I did see that I was at my job for a reason.
Yeah.
I teach high school kids, and when I realized that all those kids, some of the kids I don't even coach or teach, come to me and be like, "Coach, what you think about this? What's this?" And it made me realize this is your purpose, is to lead these kids. Yeah. If they come to you about family issues and you don't know anything about their family, but they've had a slight conversation with you, and when they walk away from you, they feel so much better. I felt like reading this book made me open my eyes and have faith that God was leading me in the right place.
That's awesome, man.
So I related to it in that fact that I feel like that school is the next step for me on my journey, on my path for his vision. So
that's awesome. That's
awesome.
Relatable. So 9.5 for Pop on the relatability scale. For me, I would give it a 9. I would say that kind of the lessons and values that Todd is pushing in his book is definitely relatable as far as we're going through with COVID too. I mean, just the whole, COVID-19 deal, and people need something to grab on to and gravitate to and have faith with. You know what I mean? That the doctors and everybody else is gonna kind of get everything the same. Also, man, that if your butt is sick, man, stay at the crib, bro.
Stay home.
Stay at home, bro. Like it ain't that serious, man. Stay at the house, man. But I would give it a 9. I would give it a 9. Number 2, level of interest. How do you feel like this book kept you intrigued? Did it keep you? Was it a page turner? Did it kind of keep you interested? Was it one where you felt like you couldn't put the book down? How was your level of interest for the book?
It was crazy. As the part of the title is crazy. It was crazy how this book, reading this book, it was like, oh, I want to read every second I got. Mm-hmm. So it was very interesting. My rating for it will be I guess I'm gonna say a 10. Okay. Because it held me. It grabbed me and it made me want to finish. Before this book, I would get a book, I would read the first 2-3 chapters, forget it for a day or two, get it back. I was reading this book every chance I got. And the good thing is we went virtual because of the COVID deal. Yeah. So when my kids was working by themselves on stuff, I would read.
That's awesome.
Every chance I would read. So this book was very interesting to me. It really spoke to me. So the level of interest was amazing.
Awesome. I would give it a 9 for me as well. I thought the level of interest was super high. I read it when my wife thought she had COVID, actually. Mm-hmm. So she kind of isolated herself in the back a little bit, and I would kind of sit back at the door and talk with her and read. So I read pretty much, like I said, 100 pages in one day, man. I couldn't put it down. It was something that was awesome. I felt like it was definitely one of those books, man, that was super good from kind of beginning to end.
They put you in a chokehold.
You feel me? Last one, flow. All right, how do you feel like the flow of the book was? And we're saying flow, we're talking about character development, which is kind of not really big in nonfiction, but you could have it. Mm-hmm. The whole style of the book, kind of just different elements in how you feel like the book flowed for you.
Okay, so you said as far as the characters, and you're right. In nonfiction, characters are not displayed in a way where it's like, oh, you remember them characters. Mm-hmm. But going back to this book, bro, it was a character. You know who I'm going to. The character that was paralyzed.
Yeah.
He was paralyzed, he couldn't move, and was just down bad. But he had a group of friends, a group of his partners was like, bro, look, we tired of you laying around. We want you to be able to kick it with us, walk around. So let's get you to Jesus. Let's get you to God. Jesus is moving. He's giving out blessings. He's healing people. Let's get you to him.
That's it.
So they went to where he was going. Now, granted, they had to carry him. And back in these days, they was walking, bro. How long did it take?
About this story.
Yeah, bro. And it's crazy. So it's like, okay, let's get him there. And once they got there, it was crowded. Yeah. It's like going to the club, shoulder to shoulder. You can't get to the stage. So they got him there, and they was like, bro, we got to get him in front of him. Bro, they climbed the roof of these people's house.
Get out my roof.
I bet, bro, I wonder how that person felt for them being up there. So they climbed the roof and basically broke into the house, bro. Like, they broke into the house through the roof, and it was like they dropped him down right in front of Jesus. Awesome. So he can receive his healing. Yeah. When he got there, Jesus told him to heal, get up, walk again. There's not direct on the story, but this is the storyline. And those characters, bro, you remember them.
Absolutely.
That's normally not how it works when it comes to dealing with nonfiction. Yeah. But we remember this. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
For sure.
And you also mentioned the storyline, or the flow of it. The flow was perfect. You went from baby faith to where you learned how to even start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Then you go to the wavy faith where your faith, is up and down. Then you get the crazy faith. So the flow was good. The only thing that'll make me drop it to a 9 is the repetitiveness.
Yeah.
He repeated a lot of good things. Like it was good things to repeat, but it was throughout the book. Yeah. Nobody wants to read the same thing over and over. So I'll give that a 9 ultimately for how he continued to repeat things. But it was overall a 9 for me when it comes to that point.
Those are very solid points, man. And on the character development, that was super important too, because like even with Bible characters are not something that people tend to kind of expand upon as far as really giving them different kind of labels. Like your story about, or your example about, the paralyzed man, they carried him. I mean, he talked about the perspective from the friend's perspective.
From the friend's perspective.
Not from the paralyzed man, who most of your pastors and everybody who tell that story talk about it from the paralyzed man point of view. But he talked about it from the friend point of view. Having to carry him to how long it was, how heavy he was.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So Todd making you think about all of those different things, man, I think it's awesome, talking about Thomas and people talking about him and not seeing Jesus and not believing that Jesus was alive after he got crucified and was able to kind of come back again. I thought Todd did a great job of making Bible characters feel real. You know what I mean? And that was a really good thing. Again, the repetitiveness was kind of an issue, but I will give it a 9 as well. So kind of to summarize it, man, for our rating, this will be a 9 on a 10-point scale for us. So in 20 lines, Books and Bros rating, we'll give Crazy Faith by Michael Todd a 9 out of 10. 9. And that's a super high rating, man. Also, man, for our book readers out there, if you like books, like Pop talked about earlier, again, if you have different scales that you would like to see us rate on as well, man, we're definitely open to, just any kind of conversation. So whatever you got for us, drop in the comments, or kind of get with us on any social media platform, man. Let's add to this thing and really make it better. So for closing, what are we reading next? What's our next book we're going to next?
Tony Dungy. He wrote a book, Quiet Strength. Yes, he wrote a book, Quiet Strength, that is, I feel like it's going to be a strong read.
Absolutely.
Honestly, we want to move that one. So if you want to join us, like Bino just said, Quiet Strength by Tony Dungy. You can get it audiobook. You can get it, you get the hard copy. We both prefer hard copies so we can have it in our library.
Just feel better, man.
Yeah, it feels so much better sitting down reading instead of listening to it. Yeah. But nothing against you audiobook readers. But that's the next book. I'll repeat it again. Tony Dungy, Quiet Strength. That's where we're headed. That's pretty much been in the first pilot episode.
Yes, sir.
Got it from a dog. Pilot episode of In Between the Lines. With Bino and Pop, we're the bros, and this is the book.
That's the book, man.
Thank y'all for joining us. See you next time.
Signing off.